When Virginia arrives, I'm surprised to see that she has brought her entire family with her. On one hand, I was happy to see that she had made up with her family and that they were getting along. On the other hand, though, I had to admit that I was a little unnerved by her mother's energy. "Oh, Tori, dear, how are you?" Jenny asks as she comes up to me, swooping me up in her arms. It wasn't really the most appropriate way to greet a noble lady, but I wasn't sure how to correct her without seeming insulting. "I am fine, thank you," I say politely, "and I am sure you are familiar with my husband, Lord Grabiner." "Charmed." Jenny pulls at the sides of her dress as she does a small bob, and I was just grateful that she did not try to hug him. "Hi, Tori." Philip offers me his hand and I shake it. He addresses Hieronymous with a quick bow. "Lord Grabiner." "Mr. Danson." "Hey there, kiddo." William scoops me up in his arms and I hug him back before he turns to Hieronymous. "Long time no see, Lord Grabiner. I hope things are going well for you." "They are," Hieronymus replies. "And yourself?" "I got a job at Iris Academy," William says with a small laugh, and my mouth drops open as I look up at him. "I know. I'm teaching freshmen red and black magic. The school's been going through a major overhaul since Professor Potsdam left. Her replacement, Professor Trinkman, wants younger teachers and wild seeds to start teaching there. Freshman wild seeds now have to arrive a week early to take a special orientation on magical customs, too." "That is better than anything I could have ever hoped to hear," I say as Donald steps forward to hug me. "So, Minnie told me about Ellen," he says quietly as his voice trails off. "I'm sorry for being so mean to you last year. Turns out it really wasn't your fault after all." "That's okay," I say quickly. "The past is the past. We're friends again. That's all that matters." Donald grins. "And just wait until you hear what I've been up to at college. William and I have some great stories to tell you." "I can't wait to hear them," I say as I grin back at them. "But first, I think there's someone that Virginia wants you to meet." Virginia blushes as she crosses her arms over her chest. "They're pretty upset that I didn't give her a name yet," she offers, and her mother shushes her immediately. "Oh, we aren't upset, dear," Jenny says with motherly affection. "It's just very untraditional is all." Virginia turns to me. "You spent the past week with her. Did you think of a name yet?" I look at Hieronymus, who just looks back at me. We thought about naming her Alice," I offer. "What do you think about that?" "It's a name," Virginia says with a shrug. "See, Mom, she does have a name. Her name is Alice. So let's go, everyone. Let's go meet Alice." As they all head inside, I turn back to Hieronymus, who seems to be waiting for them to all head off before he says anything. "That could have been worse," he admits, and I can't help but grin at him. "I love it when you're an optimist," I say teasingly. "So how'd you feel about Virginia's family tagging along?" I find it almost difficult to believe that she would take advantage of our hospitality and invite her family over without clearing it with us first, Hieronymus says thoughtfully. "However, neither of us has checked our correspondence in the last few days. It is possible that she wrote to us and we didn't see it." "I'm pretty sure that's it," I agree. "Virginia would never just invite them over without asking, although we're not really in any position to say no. I mean, they're her parents. That's their grandchild. If they want to be involved, they have a right to be." Hieronymus looks seriously alarmed for a moment. "This is my estate," he says firmly. "And I am sorry to say so, Tori, but they are not welcome here. They are allowed to visit, but I am not letting that woman run roughshod over my castle." I just shake my head. "Well, fingers crossed that she'll be respectful." "We'll see," Hieronymous murmurs under his breath, and I can't help but smile up at him as I take his hand in mine. Come on, I say. Let's all have dinner together and talk this out. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. Unfortunately, I had severely underestimated Jenny. She complained about the drafty rooms. She complained about the lack of suitable furnishings in the nursery. She complained about the help, saying that Rita was holding her the wrong way, and that after raising 3 happy children, she should know how it was done. By the time dinner rolled around, Hieronymous was almost red with fury. It had been so long since I had last seen his grumpy Professor Grabiner persona, but he was wearing it now. Oh, Tori dear, I almost forgot, Jenny says as we all sit down to eat. I bought a few cases of scones and biscuits with me. I think one of your maids brought them down to the kitchens. Make sure your servants don't eat them before you get a chance to taste one. If you made it clear that it was a gift for Tori, then my staff will not touch them, Hieronymous says curtly. I don't employ help that hasn't proven themselves to be exceedingly trustworthy. Well, that's a relief, Jenny says. She looks like she's about to say something else, but she doesn't get a chance as Hieronymous turns sharply to Virginia. By the by, Virginia, I checked our correspondence and we did not seem to have received any notification that you were inviting your family to visit. He notes, and for a moment I want to crawl underneath the table to avoid the drama that was no doubt going to ensue. They surprised me at the airport, Virginia explains. I didn't realize they were coming with me until they were already on the plane. Come on, Grabs, aren't you at least a little excited to see me again? Donald teases, and Hieronymous narrows his eyes at him. I hope we're not imposing, William offers. We know how many demands you have on your time. This is only meant to be a quick visit. We will not intrude on your home any longer than necessary. I actually have business to take care of in Rumsford, Philip offers. Lord Grabiner, I do believe you are familiar with Lord Morgenstraft? I am, he replies. His daughter interviewed to be my replacement as Blue Magic Professor at Iris Academy not too long ago. Virginia and I exchange a long, charged look across the table. I still remember the way she had been shamelessly flirting with him and how all of my friends had been offended on my behalf. At least I didn't take it personally. I was confused, of course, but the encounter had been more embarrassing for Hieronymous than it had been for me. As they begin to talk about that, I noticed that Virginia and her mother seem to be having some private conversation of their own, given by the way their eyes keep glancing back and forth at one another. After Philip and Hieronymous's conversation seems to come to an end, Jenny can't help but lock eyes with me directly. So, how did you two get along with little Alice over the past week? She asks. Fine, I reply immediately. She really likes being outside. We took her for walks, we fed her, I learned how to change a dirty diaper. It's a lot to get used to, but learning the duties and responsibilities of parenthood is not something that one learns overnight. Most definitely not, Jenny exclaims. Why, I would love to stay and help take care of the young dear. Mom, Virginia whispers harshly, her cheeks flushing with embarrassment. Oh, hush now, her mother scolds as she turns back to us. Virginia was telling us all about how you need to get back to work, especially in the other world. That is no place for a child, as I'm sure you very well know. Thank you for the offer, but it is unnecessary, Hieronymous says as he tries to maintain his dignified composure. I have the best staff available to provide the child with anything she needs. Oh, but a castle like this is no place for a little girl to grow up, Jenny continues. Why, there is nothing but country for miles and miles. What will it be like for her to grow up without anyone her own age to play with? Many children grow up in homes without any siblings, Hieronymous says pointedly. Tori herself grew up without any brothers and sisters. as did I. Are you saying we are deficient in some way due to our lack of sibling companionship? Not at all, Philip says quickly as he stares resolutely down at his plate. Oh, of course not, Jenny echoes with a laugh. I am just saying, I think I should stay for a bit and help Virginia along. When Alice gets old enough, maybe we can take her back home with us, and I think it would be best if the child stays here, Hieronymous insists. She would have the best tutors at her disposal and receive an education far better than she could ever hope to achieve in the States. But she needs to grow up alongside children her own age, Jenny counters. What good will a solid education do for her if her social growth is stunted? Hieronymous is about to argue with her, and I can't help but speak up. I'm sorry, but this has to stop, I say firmly. Everyone at the table turns to stare at me, and for a moment I want to back down, but I've already said too much. Instead, I quickly swallow the lump in my throat and find my voice. You both are disagreeing because you are looking at her upbringing from two totally different perspectives. Regardless, it is not a decision for either of you to make. The decision must be left to her parents, Virginia and Jacob. If Jacob does not wish to have a say, then the decision falls to Virginia. All eyes at the table shift to Virginia, who shuffles in her seat, clearly uncomfortable with all of the attention. I mean, I told you what I want before I left. Have you guys given it any more thought? I glance nervously at Hieronymous. Yes, we have given it a great deal of thought, but we still need more time to decide. We are still going to be extremely busy over the next few years, and so we don't want to say no outright, but we can revisit the matter in a few months, and we'll see how we feel then, once we had more time to consider this. Virginia sighs as she runs a hand through her hair. Okay, yeah, that's fair. I turn back to Hieronymous, recognizing this wasn't solely my decision to make. Do you have any sort of timeline? I ask. Do you know when you might have a clear answer for her? Hieronymous pauses for a moment as he nods on his lower lip. We'll do it, he says eventually, and I can't help but turn around and gape at him. You'll make a decision? Virginia asks hesitantly, and Hieronymous turns to face her directly. We'll do it, he says, hardening his resolve. We'll adopt Alice. Wait, what?